It worked in mice. It worked in mice.
Welcome back to It Worked in Mice, the podcast where we sift through the latest health headlines to find the gems of hope and the other stuff.
The stuff that sounds amazing until you realize it'll take 40 years and $1 trillion to get to your local pharmacy. That's the stuff I handle.
Exactly. And today, Alex, we are diving right into one of the biggest, most enduring dietary dogfights of our time: low carb versus low fat, the ultimate battle for your heart's affection.
Oh, fantastic! I was hoping we could settle a debate that has fueled 1 million angry blog comment sections. Let me guess, we finally crowned a winner? Is fat officially the villain again, or is it carbs' turn in the hot seat? I can't keep track.
That's the beautiful thing. A massive new study suggests everyone can just calm down. It turns out neither is the villain, or both can be. It all depends on what you are actually eating.
You're telling me that a low-carb diet of bacon and cheese is different from a low-carb diet of avocados and leafy greens? This is truly groundbreaking. I'm shocked, absolutely floored.
Sarcasm noted, but you're basically right. This was a huge study following nearly 200,000 people for more than 30 years, and they found that both low-carb and low-fat eating patterns were linked to a lower risk of heart disease, but only when people were eating high-quality foods.
Define high quality. I assume that doesn't mean artisanal hand-churned butter and bacon from a pig that listened to classical music.
Close. For the low-carb folks, it meant getting their fats and proteins from plant-based sources like nuts and vegetables and eating healthy fats. For the low-fat crowd, it meant focusing on whole grains and plant-based foods, not just swapping fatty foods for low-fat cookies packed with refined carbs and sugar.
So the takeaway from a 30-year study involving 200,000 people is eat your vegetables and avoid junk food?
Precisely, but isn't that a relief? It takes the pressure off. It's not about obsessively counting every gram of fat or carbohydrate. It's about the source. The lead author, Ziwan Wu, said it perfectly. Focusing only on nutrient compositions but not food quality may not lead to health benefits. It validates a more balanced, less extreme approach to eating.
I suppose it's nice to have scientific backing for what our grandmothers have been telling us for decades. It just feels like we spend so much time and money to arrive at the most obvious conclusions.
But that's how science works. We have to test these things. And now there's robust data showing that no matter which team you're on, team low carb or team low fat, the winning strategy is to fill your plate with whole, unprocessed foods. It's an empowering message.
All right, I'll concede. It's a win for common sense. Speaking of things our grandmothers were right about, how about this next one? It turns out being strong might actually help you live longer.
Yes, this one is so fascinating, and it's wonderfully simple. A large study on women between the ages of 63 and 99 found a clear link between muscle strength and a lower risk of death from all causes.
So all those jars I struggled to open were actually life extension exercises? I should have charged my family for the privilege.
You joke, but that's almost exactly what they measured. One of the key indicators was grip strength. The women in the group with the highest grip strength had a 33% lower risk of death compared to the group with the lowest. They also looked at chair stand time, which measures lower body strength.
Chair stand time? Is that just timing how fast you can stand up from a chair?
5 times in a row without using your arms. And yes, faster times meant greater strength and were linked to a 37% lower risk of death. What's really wild is that this connection held true even for women who didn't meet the official guidelines for aerobic activity.
Okay, hold on. This is where my cynical alarm bells start ringing. Isn't it more likely that people who are already healthier and have fewer underlying problems are just naturally stronger? It doesn't mean the strength itself is a magic potion for longevity. It's just a sign that you're not falling apart yet.
That's a fair point, and it's something the researchers acknowledge. It's an observational study, so it can't prove cause and effect, but they suggest that stronger muscles are a great indicator of overall health. It's not just about mass, it's about muscle quality, which plays a role in metabolism, inflammation, and immune function.
So the doctor of the future won't take my blood pressure, they'll just hand me a jar of pickles and a stopwatch.
Honestly, maybe. The study points out that grip strength could be a really practical, easy screening tool for doctors to assess aging-related risks. It's simple, cheap, and gives them a quick snapshot of a patient's functional health.
I can see it now. The nurses report blood pressure normal, cholesterol looks good, but his pickle jar opening time is a little slow. We should be concerned.
All this talk about muscle strength is making me antsy. I think I'm going to try one of those chair stands myself, for science. Give me 20 seconds.
It worked in mice. Worked in mice. That sounds real nice. Sounds real nice. Will it work for you? Let's find out what's true. It worked in mice.
And she's back. So, did you feel the years falling away with each stand? Have you unlocked the secret to eternal life? Before you were auditioning for the Senior Olympics over there, we were talking about muscle strength.
Let's just say I'm not breaking any records yet, but it does feel good to move. Okay, so we've covered diet and strength, which are things we can sort of control. Now let's jump from the practical to the practically science fiction. I have two studies here that, when you put them together, paint an incredible picture of the future of cancer detection.
Let me brace myself for the wave of unbridled optimism. Hit me with it.
Okay, first, scientists stumbled upon what they call a hidden layer of cancer. They found a mysterious type of RNA in breast cancer, and when they looked closer, they realized there are about 260,000 of these cancer-specific RNAs across all kinds of tumors. They're calling them oncoRNAs.
OncoRNAs. Sounds ominous. So what do they do besides have a scary name?
They act like a signature, or what the researchers called a digital molecular barcode. Each type of cancer, and even subtypes of cancer, has its own unique pattern of these oncoRNAs. Using these patterns, they trained a machine learning model that could identify a tumor's type with over 90% accuracy.
A barcode for cancer. That's disturbingly corporate. So a computer can scan my tumor and tell me what model I have?
Essentially, yes, but it gets even better. Some of these oncoRNAs don't just sit there, they actively drive tumor growth and metastasis, and most importantly, many of them are released into the bloodstream.
Ah, I see where this is going. The holy grail of medicine, the simple blood test for cancer.
Exactly. Now, combine that with this second study. A different team has developed a new type of sensor that is absurdly sensitive. It uses a combination of DNA nanotechnology, CRISPR, and something called quantum dots.
Whoa, you just went full Marvel movie on me. CRISPR and quantum dots? Are you sure this wasn't a rejected script for an Iron Man sequel?
I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me. Think of it like a tiny, super-powered flashlight. It's a light-based sensor that can spot even a few molecules of a cancer biomarker in a blood sample. It's so sensitive that it can get a clear signal without having to do all the complicated and expensive amplification steps that current tests need.
So one group found the cancer barcodes, and another group is building the high-tech scanner to read them from a single drop of blood.
That's the idea. In their tests, this new sensor detected lung cancer biomarkers in patient samples at what they call subatomolar levels, which is an impossibly tiny amount. The lead researchers said it holds promise for simple blood screenings for lung cancer before a tumor might even be visible on a CT scan.
Okay, I have to admit that is impressive. Detecting cancer before a scan can? That changes everything. But, and you knew there was a but coming, this is the part where I bring us crashing back to Earth. This is amazing work, truly. But when is this actually going to happen for regular people?
Alex.
No, seriously, we've been hearing about this simple cancer blood test for years. Is this another thing that works perfectly in a lab but is decades away from being a routine part of my annual checkup? Will my insurance even cover a quantum dot CRISPR scan? It sounds expensive.
Of course it's not happening tomorrow, but this is how progress is made. This isn't just a vague idea anymore. They have working prototypes and identified targets. Think about what it could mean. Instead of waiting months for an imaging result to see if a treatment is working, a doctor could monitor your biomarker levels daily or weekly. It would revolutionize not just detection, but treatment. It would make care so much more personalized and immediate. That's not a 40-year fantasy. That's the very next frontier they're working on. It gives people real, tangible hope.
Hope. I suppose we could all use a bit of that. Fine, you win this round, Piper. The future sounds less terrible than I thought.
I knew I'd get you eventually. And that's our show for today. So what did we learn? Don't stress about low carb versus low fat, just eat quality food. Squeezing a tennis ball might be good for you. And the future of medicine is hiding in our blood, waiting for a quantum dot flashlight to find it.
Right, my to-do list is clear. Eat a salad, go to the gym, and patiently await my Sci-Fi blood test. Until next time on It Worked in Mice.
Stay curious, everyone.
Sounds real nice.
Will it